So, good morning to all of you. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please wait. Actually, I think on 16th you are having your first session of physical pharmaceutics. Correct? Correct, na? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what I thought we'll have just a revision today. Today and tomorrow morning we'll have a revision. So, again, tomorrow morning from 9 to 10 for both the division A and B, we'll have the revision class because some of you have missed out some of the important topics. So I think from tomorrow morning 9 to 10 for both division A and B, we'll have the combined class in the Google Meet. Okay. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I'll share you we'll have a revision. So if you are having any doubt, so please ask at the end of the session so that it will be cleared for you. Just wait, I'll share the screen. Is the slides visible to you?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So good morning to all of you. So initially we have started with unit 2 because it will help us in going into detail of other units. So unit 2, there are two chapters. One is states of matter and second one is the physiochemical properties of the drug molecules. So first we'll have a revision on unit 2, chapter 1, that is states of matter. So we know that what is a matter? Matter means it's a substance that has a mass and takes up a space. And one more thing I would like to add is that I think this slide has been already uploaded in your LMS. So you can download it from the LMS. Unit 2, chapter 1 and chapter 2. The slides have been uploaded in the LMS. You can download it. Okay. Is it clear, Yogita?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So what is a matter? Matter is a substance that has a mass and takes up a space. So there are four types of matter. First one is known as, actually there are five types, but for your point of view, we have to mainly deal with four types of matter. One is a solid, second one is a liquid, third one is a gas, and the fourth one is plasma. So in solids, you know that the molecules are definitely arranged in a definite pattern and they have strong intermolecular force of attraction. I think I am audible to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
solids, the molecules are arranged in a definite pattern and they have a strong intermolecular force of attraction. While in case of liquids, the molecules can move easily from one another and there is a less intermolecular force of attraction when you compare with that of a solid. Coming to gases, the molecules are moving randomly in all the direction because there is very, very less intermolecular force of attraction. Now coming to the plasma state is usually seen in at very high temperatures where the atoms lose their electrons and the electrons and nuclei move apart from each other. Okay, so there are four states of matter: solid, where the molecules are arranged in a definite pattern with a strong intermolecular force of attraction. Then we have the liquids, where the molecules can move from each other and there is a less intermolecular force of attraction, and gases where the molecules are randomly moving in all the directions with practically very, very less intermolecular force of attraction. And then you have the plasma state. So coming to states of matter, usually from one state of matter to another, it's very easy to convert. The process of conversion of a solid state into a liquid state is known as melting, and conversion of a liquid into a vaporized state is known as vaporization. Now coming to the reverse phase, conversion of a vapor into a liquid is known as condensation, and conversion of a liquid into a solid state is known as freezing. there are two other processes in which a solid is directly converted into a gaseous state without converting into the liquid state, and that process is known as sublimation. Can anyone tell me the examples of materials which undergo sublimation? Yes, Ananya?
Camphor. Camphor.
Camphor. Anything else?
Menthol.
Menthol, camphor. Anything else?
Naphthalene. Naphthalene.
Naphthalene, iodine, etc. Okay, good. Now the process of conversion of a gas directly into a solid is known as deposition. Can you give me an example? Where a gas is directly converted into a solid. Yes, anyone? Ananya?
Yes, sir.
Example of the deposition, gas directly into a solid.
CO2 gas,
Anyone?
sir.
Yeah, what is the CO2 gas? Okay, it's correct. Rahul Gule, you are correct. Conversion of CO2 gas, that is carbon dioxide gas, into a solid. What is the dry form of carbon dioxide? उसका नाम क्या है?
Solid CO2.
It's not solid CO2. It is known as dry ice. Okay, it is known as dry ice. So, conversion of carbon dioxide gas directly into solid, that process is known as deposition, and the solid form is known as dry ice. Now, coming to gases. So, gases, the major factors which control the nature of the gases, the behavior of gases are controlled by two things. One is the pressure and the temperature, as well as the volume. Usually, most of the gases obeys a law which is known as PV is equal to nRT, or this equation is known as ideal gas equation. So the gases which obey this equation, that is PV is equal to nRT, are known as ideal gases. And the gases which deviate from this law are known as real or actual gases. Okay, so PV, P is the pressure, V is the volume, N is the number of molecules, R is the universal gas constant, and T is the temperature. So the gases which obey ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT, are known as ideal gases, and the gases which do not obey are known as real or actual gases. So when you exert a pressure over the gases, what happens at a fixed temperature, at a constant temperature, when you exert a pressure over the gases gets converted into the liquid, because due to that pressure the molecules will come near to each other and the intermolecular force of attraction increases. As a result, gas can be converted into a liquid. Now coming to the next state, that is liquid. In liquid state, the important term to remember is that this one, heat of vaporization or latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of vaporization is the heat that is absorbed when a liquid vaporizes at above the boiling point. Okay, the heat that is absorbed when a liquid vaporizes above the boiling point is known as latent heat of vaporization. Example, in case of water, the heat energy which is absorbed when water is converted from liquid to gaseous form is 2260 joules per gram. And here you have another term known as latent heat of fusion. It is the temperature in which a solid is converted into a, it's not the temperature, sorry, it is the heat energy required for converting a solid into a liquid. Is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, what do you mean by vapor pressure? Vapor pressure means it is defined as the pressure exerted by the vapor which is in equilibrium with the liquid Okay, so for example, at a constant temperature, when you boil water, the water gets converted from liquid to the gaseous form, and that water vapor will exert a pressure on the liquid water on the surface. That is known as vapor pressure. Now coming to solids. Solids, basically there is a strong intermolecular force of attraction and the molecules are arranged in a definite pattern. And there are two types of solids. What are they?
Crystalline and amorphous.
What are they?
Crystalline and amorphous solids.
Crystalline and amorphous. So we will discuss in detail about different differences between crystalline and amorphous form. Next is sublimation. So sublimation means it's an endothermic process where the heat energy is being absorbed into the system and a solid is directly converted into a liquid. Solid is directly converted into a gaseous form. So this is the difference between crystalline and amorphous solids. This is very important. In crystalline solids, they have a definite shape and geometrical form. In amorphous solids, they do not have a definite geometrical shape. Crystalline solids have a definite melting point, while amorphous have a range of melting points. That means their melting point will change accordingly. Okay. Crystalline solids are rigid and incompressible, while amorphous are usually rigid, but they can be compressed into a certain extent. This is not cannot and can be compressed to any extent. Crystalline solids gives a clean cleavage, while amorphous has an irregular cleavage. Crystalline solids have a definite heat of fusion and amorphous does not have a definite heat of fusion. I think you know what is heat of fusion. Latent heat of fusion. It is the heat energy absorbed for converting a solid into a liquid form. So crystalline solids have a definite heat of fusion or latent heat of fusion, while amorphous does not have a definite latent heat of fusion. Crystalline solids are anisotropic, while amorphous solids are isotropic. Is it clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Examples of crystalline solids are rock salt. Amorphous examples are glass. Now, there is an important term known as critical point and triple point. So, this graph is very important. You have to study it. So, in this graph, the temperature is being plotted on the x-axis while pressure is being plotted on the y-axis. So, we have 2 points, triple and critical point. So, triple point is a particular temperature on the x-axis and pressure on the y-axis in which the three phases, that is the liquid, gas and solid of a substance, coexist in equilibrium. Okay. So, triple point is a particular temperature and pressure in which the three phases, that is the solid, liquid and gases of a particular substance exist in equilibrium with each other. Are you understanding the concept? Triple
Yes,
point. So triple point is a point in which all the three forms of the particular substance will exist. So it is very difficult to differentiate whether it is a solid, liquid or a gas. For water, the triple point is 0.01 degrees Celsius at 4.58 millimeter of mercury, that is the pressure. So for triple point, you have to tell the temperature as well as the pressure. So for water, the triple point is 0.01 degrees Celsius and the